20 years, 20 amazing years, 20 amazing years with an amazing man. It was so wonderful to call Chris Freeborn my husband. He really was someone special. Chris was loving, encouraging, supportive, helpful, caring, gracious. No matter who it was for or what it involved, he was always willing to do whatever was needed. Something else that made Chris special was his patience, especially when it came to my athletic ability, or lack thereof. We ran 2 marathons, did some incredibly difficult cycling, and curled together. In all sports, Chris excelled, and I struggled. But whenever I encouraged him to go ahead without me, his answer was always the same. It's not about personal gain. It's about doing it together. Chris was always positive, and he motivated me to be my best. We had such fun together, planning our adventures, then seeing them through, whether it was cycling through Europe or Iowa, going to Japan to photograph a series of concerts, photographing a wedding in Greece or one in Portugal. We loved to travel and had so many stories about the good times we shared and the wonderful people we met along the way. Chris was a hugger when you arrived and when you left. This connection with people also resulted in him keeping in touch with faraway family and friends, always remembering birthdays and other special days. Chris brought out the best in me as my true soulmate and the love of my life, and I will always feel deep gratitude for those amazing 20 years we shared.
A week before my dad's 71st birthday, I wrote him a letter called 20 Life Lessons My Dad Has Taught Me. He read my letter from his hospital bed and wrote me a loving note to thank me for what he called a humbling tribute. I wrote back and said I could have written a book and had to stop myself at only 20 life lessons. I told Dad he's been my great teacher. He taught me to be curious, to take a genuine interest in others, to help people feel comfortable and develop loving connections, to be generous and kind, to give freely without expectations, to be practical and philosophical, to live life with gratitude, to laugh and have fun, and never lose my childlike spirit. Dad nurtured my love of literature, music, academics, nature, and the art of conversation, and he strongly encouraged me in every step of my career. Dad added to my letter one more set of words to live by, and those are, "An act of kindness shall be repaid 1,000 times." He lived by this motto, and he understood how deeply interconnected we all are. In the end, Dad taught us the ultimate lesson, how to die well. Dad died with dignity and ease, his sense of humor fully alive. Not a day will pass when I won't miss him, and his wisdom and grace will continue to guide me.
Death took my dad rather quickly. We watched him go from a life-loving, bicycle-riding, wine-drinking, tech-knowing, word-weaving, soul-enriching part of our lives to suddenly being gone in a matter of weeks. Through it all, Dad chose love and gratitude. The sweet taste of ice cream, the flame of sunshine on the deck, the touch of a hand. Dad met his fate with gratitude, a smile, and a heartfelt welcome despite his condition. He was gracious, grateful, intellectual, loving, respectful, and compassionate. My sister whispered to me during our time with Dad during these final weeks, "Dad is teaching us how to die." It's a lesson I will always be grateful for. Of course, there are so many more lessons from my dad for which I will be eternally grateful. To know me is to know some of these lessons. These include such greats as the importance of triangles. The key to life is low expectations. It's not free, it's included. The brilliance of the far side. Never stop learning. Love both people and pets. And never ever stop being able to cry when you listen to special music. I feel a soulful sadness deep in my core at the thought of living the rest of my life without my dad, and for my loved ones who have to do the same. Dad, I will always think of you when I hear our songs. You will eternally be at the camera end of a photo, a silver lining, the sown seed. I love you, Dad.
I first met Chris in 1995, shortly after Paige and I began dating. He was in a restaurant in downtown Edmonton, and I knew within the first few minutes of talking with him that we would be lifelong friends. Chris was a person who loved to love and was unconditional in his love and support of me as a person, as a son-in-law, as a musician, and as a fully included member of his family. During his toast at our wedding, he said, "Never give up what you love to do for the sake of money, power, or status. Do what you love and do it fully." And he walked the talk. He gave countless thousands of hours collaborating with Paige and I in support of our musical careers, traveling to Vancouver and faraway places like Japan, doing photography, videography, audio recording, and creating magnificent productions. And after every concert, we would pour a glass of red wine, sit on the couch, and talk about all things production related, planning and creating and dreaming about possibilities. Chris also loved to have fun. He brought his sense of humor to many occasions and was often the life of the party. I will miss his beautiful and positive presence in my life, his kindness, his generosity, his support, and his love. And of course, all of the fun, connection, and creativity that we shared. He showed me how to stand above the clouds and to have the courage to imagine all of the possibilities. I will miss you and will always hold you in my heart.
Hi, I'm Yorma, Chris's son-in-law, sort of like Adrian but shorter, plumper, and less married. Anyhow, I didn't get to know Chris well. During my tenure, we always intended to visit more, but life always seemed to get in the way. However, I did come to know this about Chris. Chris was creative. Chris was a creator. I watched him print amazing 3D models in his office. I saw him create impressive electronic light installations, and I admired the wonderful photos he took that captured beautiful moments like these. But Chris also created something much more amazing, these people. He created a wonderfully loving relationship with Donna. He created Chelsea and Paige, who in turn created Zaid and Etienne. He created space for Adrian and I. And because of his creations, I've been lucky enough to live a blessed life. These people that are closest to me, that I am so privileged to love and share my life with, are all precious creations of Chris. And though Chris is no longer with us, I can see a little of Chris in all his creations. Paige's tenacity, Chelsea's sensitivity, Etienne's individuality, Zaid's focus, Donna's zest for life. There's so much of Chris that lives on in these beautiful people. I'm grateful for being a part of Chris's life, even if briefly, and I'm grateful that Chris left all these wonderful gifts. Thanks for giving, Chris. Thanks for creating.
My relationship with Grandpa was interesting because even though we did have this immense love for each other and we got along super well when we saw each other, I never really did get super close with him. Now this was for a couple of reasons. The distance between us, not being able to see him that often, and my age being younger. We never really did get to have many of those one-on-one conversations to get to know each other super well. This didn't mean we didn't have things in common, we both love sports, and we got to have great conversations about that. But all of this meant that last week I got to spend with him before he passed was probably the best week I'd ever spent with him, in my life, in those 18 years of my life. I got to have great conversations with him. I got to see him every day, just getting to, hang out and spend time with him was absolutely wonderful. It was obviously sad what it was leading up to, but it was just absolutely beautiful, those days I got to spend with him. And he just taught me so much, right? He taught me to respect myself. He taught me to respect others, just to be a better person. And he'll be so, so missed by everyone. Everyone that has met him just absolutely loves him. My relationship with my grandfather over the last 2 years was and will continue to be one of the most important relationships I've had the privilege of experiencing. He was one of my most trusted supports, guides, and mentors, someone who I felt I could ask for advice on or support around anything. He unquestionably made me a better person. He will continue to be a role model for me and an influence in my life, and I feel unbelievably grateful to call him one of the best friends I will ever have. I see so much of my grandfather in me, and I can't think of a greater honor. The thing I most deeply respect about Chris Freeborn was and is the importance he placed on our relationship, how we defined and formed it outside of family relationship norms. I feel so much loss around losing one of my best friends, maybe even more than losing my grandpa, which I hope would make him proud. What seemed in 2019 like a random and I will admit somewhat uncomfortable invite for me to come to Mesa just to spend some time and of course do a lot of cycling evolved into 2 years of connection that I will cherish for life. While I wish we could have shared 20 more years of weekly 2-hour phone calls that I can only call comprehensive, and visits filled with me trying to keep up to my grandparents on a bike followed by epic late-night conversations, my gratitude for the time that we had eclipses my sadness around the time we did not. I consider the most important gift that my grandpa gave me to be that I was able to share my life with such depth and meaning with Chris Freeborn in the last 2 years of his life. To my close friend and grandpa, I love you, I miss you, and you will always be such a big part of who I am.